One of the games I always thought would be awesome in VR is Metroid. The thought of having Samus's blaster in VR, with perhaps the ability to steady it using my other hand, and maybe even her grappling rope, is something that would just feel amazing if done properly. When Old Formulas, the developer for the System Critical games, reached out to me with a review copy of the latest installment, System Critical 2, I checked out the trailers and thought, yo, hand blaster? Charged shot? Why not? Let's do it. I played through the whole game and wanted to share with you my thoughts on it, so sit back, grab a drink, and enjoy my review of System Critical 2. Before we go, it's probably worth mentioning that this game is from a solo dev who you can tell poured a lot into this passion project, so it doesn't have as much polish as some of the bigger budget games out there. However, for me, if the gameplay is good, then that's all that matters. Anyway, let's hop in. I didn't finish the first one when I played it last year, but straight away I noticed they've added a bunch of new stuff. The most important one being that you now play as the robo waifu known as Cyborg 17. Oh yeah, just look at her.
Oh, hello,
Cyborg 17,
Miss 17.
of this harmonious fusion.
Looking good.
Part machine, cyborg.
The plot isn't the deepest. You're not going to find lore explained iceberg videos on it, but it's basically the classic evil robo overlord takes over the world, and Cyborg 17 seems to be the only one who's able to do anything about it, so she goes on a rampage to overthrow the big bad. The game features a Mega Man style progression in which you can play any of the 8 levels available to you, in any order, unlocking the final one and the last boss. I like this because it gives the player a bit of choice in the order they do things to prepare you for the finale. The gameplay itself, it's a run and gun style game that encourages being constantly on the move as you shoot, jump and slice your way through. The difficulty, however, although much more forgiving than the first one, is not supposed to be an easy experience. Each level has checkpoints to unlock, so if you die, you spawn back with all the enemies also respawning, which gives the classic vibe of trial and error, which is another feature I actually liked. You might remember some old school games where sometimes you'd even have to restart the whole game because you ran out of lives. I describe that as brilliantly frustrating. The enemies that you fight are just about diverse enough to make it so things don't get tedious, and for the most part, it's shoot them till they die. But damn, some of them are annoying. You bloody teleporting boys, I'm looking at you. Just stop. That being said, however, after about the 5th or 6th level, I started to get that feeling, that fatigue feeling, that okay, I kind of just need to finish this game now kind of feeling. That could have been due to me playing the game for too long in one go, maybe, I don't know, but that's how I felt at the time. There's also platforming in this game, and it is as great as it is mentally breaking. You have 2 speeds, running and super fast. Oh, and you're also able to double jump. There's moving platforms that you need some finesse and a certain mastery over the way Cyborg 17 moves to get it done perfectly. Mastery that I do not have, especially when I'm being pelted by robo balls while trying to jump between platforms. I didn't enjoy these segments much, but that's probably a skill issue. Yeah, probably. No! The soundtrack is great. At first, until you've died 10 times trying to hop between some moving platforms, killing the same enemies on the way just to fall off because you forgot to toggle sprint off. In a weird masochistic way, this added to the experience for me. It was like the game was mocking me, invoking this rage, making me more determined to beat the level just out of spite for it. At the end of each level, you get a boss, which for the most part are just bullet sponges that look scarier than the rest of the enemies. Not much of a challenge, but they add a bit of spice, which you can't really go wrong with. Right, so boss done, back to the level select screen. You unlock different blasters by defeating the bosses in each level, and you have to complete 2 levels of the same shape to unlock each one. There's a nice little variety in these blasters, such as the grenade launcher, heat beam, and a couple more. But after trying them out, I ended up just using the OG blaster for the rest of the game. Reason partly being because you cycle between them by pressing a button, and in the heat of a fast-paced fight, I didn't feel like I could use what I wanted when I wanted for the situation that was playing out. A nice little hold this button to bring up your weapons and move your hand in a direction to select. Kinda like Half-Life Alyx would have gone a long way towards making it feel more viable to switch mid-fight. There's also a bunch of extra pickup type weapons, such as the sword, this spear lance type thing, grenades, and a few others. That being said, I didn't really use any melee after the tutorial, but still pretty cool to have nonetheless. And I'm sure there's people out there that will have a different playstyle to me and could find some more use for them. Oh, actually, there's a shield though. I really needed that shield. Oh yeah, and with comfort settings, it's definitely not for people with weak VR legs. There's an emphasis on movement and speed here, and no comfort options for those who struggle with VR motion sickness. All in all, the game kept me engaged for long enough to say that I enjoyed it, and where there's a few things I didn't enjoy as much as others, I'd recommend to people who like a challenge and a classic run through levels style play loop. It of course has its flaws. You know, it's a solo developed game, and gotta respect that. A few bugs here and there, nothing game breaking, just a few annoyances. For example, my gun might just start lose tracking when I'm spamming the shoot button. If you play it and experience it, or even if you don't, let me know. Or of course, let Old Formula, the developer, know, because of course they're gonna wanna fix that, won't they? At the time of recording, the game is £16.75 on Steam, or about $20 US, which some might see as too much for what you're getting. And if so, waiting for a sale might be the way for you. But I'll also say it's definitely good to support smaller VR devs if you have the wallet for it, especially on VR, because if you're a VR enjoyer like myself, this is exactly how you encourage more and better VR games. If you've watched all the way here, I love you and I thank you. I want to make more review videos, so if you enjoyed your stay, subscribe, like and comment, and maybe even suggest a game you want to see a review for. But for now, stay fed and sleep tight.